We are finally on the last lesson of Module 8, which is going to be Lesson 5, where we're going to talk about polygons in the coordinate plane. The planning session says, wow, 135 minutes, they're claiming a 3-day lesson out of this? I don't think so. There's only 13 resources to work with. Did you know that a computer screen is like a coordinate plane? The origin 0, 0 is located at the top left corner of the screen. That'll be up here. And unlike the coordinate plane, positive values are to the right and down. Each unit on the screen is referred to as a pixel. Video game designers use the coordinate plane system to plot objects in the game. How are coordinates useful when placing polygons on a computer screen? Well, you got to know where to put them, I guess, and that allows them to have every one in their correct spot. The inquiry question wants to know, how can you use the coordinate plane to find the perimeter and area of a polygon? To answer that question, we're going to go back to our Mr. Fly friend that we talked about earlier this year, and the fact that he is on the ceiling, landed several times, and the coordinates of the spots that he landed are listed on this table here. What polygon do the points form, and how could you know without graphing? I'm sitting here thinking, looking around at this, that there's probably going to be a rectangle here. Yep, based off the points, that one's going to end up being a rectangle. Now it says drag the mark to the point, drag the fly to mark the point, and then use what you know about the coordinate plane to find the perimeter and area of the rectangles. Alright, so let's scroll down, and maybe it'll load. There we go. So our fly is starting here in the origin, buzzing around in the sky, and his first point is going to be point 1, 2. So he's going to fly to 1 to the right and then up to 2 right here, and that's where we're going to take and mark a point for our little bug there. The next point we have is point 4, 2. So that means we're going to go all the way out here to I'm sorry, I'm missing it down there. There it is. So right here is going to be 4, 2, and I marked a point where he landed again. And then we're going to do 4, 1, which means he's going to be right here. And we're going to mark another point, and then he's going to fly his little fly rear end back over here to point 1, 1, and he's going to mark another point. And now, as I said before, what did we just create? We created a rectangle. Knowing what we know, we can find the area of the rectangle by multiplying the base. And remember, these are each half points here. So I have 1, 2, 3 for a base and 1 for the height. 3 times 1. That's going to end up giving me the area of 3. The perimeter would be 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1, giving me a perimeter that's going to equal to 8. So from here, I think we pretty well beat this one up. Let's get on to actually learning some real math. Our learn activity says you already know how to graph points on the coordinate plane. You can also graph polygons on the coordinate plane and to use the sketch pad here to graph the given coordinates. So we have point A, which is located at 2, 3, and you can see it is going to be at point 2, 3, which is going to be right there. Point B is going to be at 2, 7, which is right there. Point C is going to be at 8, 7, which is going to be, there's 8 and there's 7. And point C, that is going to be at 8, 3. Here's 8 and there's 3. So what polygon did we actually create? We created a rectangle. Check that answer. That checks. Easy enough to do if you remember that Superman runs before he flies. Now from there, they want us to take and do the same thing again with another one. You go ahead and do that on your own real quick. Alright, for this one, it says that A is going to be at point 0, 0, which is right there. B is going to be at point 3, 4, so I have a 3 and a 4 right there. C is going to be at point 5, 4, so there's a 5, 4 right there. and D is going to be at 0.70, which is going to be right there. So what type of polygon was created? This time we ended up with a trapezoid, a quadrilateral, in which the opposite sides were going to be parallel. Let's keep going from here. What does the number of coordinates tell you about a polygon? Well, that number of coordinates, that's going to end up telling you how many sides it is. Because however many points you have, that's also going to be the number of sides you're going to have on your polygon. Now we get to watch a video on finding the perimeter of a polygon on the coordinate plane.
The graph shows rectangle ABCD with vertices at 1, 5, 7, 5, 7, 2, and 1, 2. To find the perimeter of the rectangle, start by using the coordinates to find the distance between 2 points. The distance between 2 points gives the length of the side. To find the distance between 2 points with the same x-coordinates, subtract their y-coordinates. Points A and D have the same x-coordinates, so subtract their y-coordinates. Side AD measures 3 units. Points B and C also have the same x-coordinates. Side BC is 3 units. To find the distance between 2 points with the same y-coordinates, subtract their x-coordinates. Points A and B have the same y-coordinates, so subtract their x-coordinates. Side AB measures 6 units. Points D and C have the same y-coordinates. Side CD is 6 units. Now, find the perimeter of the rectangle by adding the lengths of the sides. So, rectangle ABCD has a perimeter of 18 units.
Well, that looks pretty simple. In fact, it also looks a lot like something we did earlier this year when we were working with learning about how to use a coordinate plane. So let's move on to example 1, which gives us this, what is this? With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided figure here. That means we're going to have a lot of different pieces, parts we're going to have to find the length of in order to find its perimeter. So let's get started on that. First thing it says is count the units as you move through the perimeter of the exhibit. It says start at the entrance 0, 0. How many units do you need to travel along the y-axis to get to the monkeys? So we can go from 0 to 7. That's going to end up being 7 units. And check that. Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't go to monkeys. I went to the snakes. The monkeys is going to be 0 to 10. Which means we're going to have a 10 right there. Let's try that again. A 10 right there. And, boop, now we got our monkeys. And then, how far are we going to travel to get to the gorillas? So from the monkeys to the gorillas, that's going to be going from 0 to 7 here. So that's going to become a 7. And then from there, they want to know, well, they count up all the rest of them there. So when you went around all those other parts right here, that ended up being all of these numbers here. And when you add those up, let's see what are we going to get. That's going to be 20 right there, 32, 42 should be what we get when we add it. And we're done. So the perimeter of this figure is going to be 42. Now they didn't really do that like they did in the video they did. What they did is they just basically counted how many spaces there were between each set. But now they are going to do it that way. They're going to be subtracting the y's or the x values to figure out the distance between the various parts. So for example, from the gorillas to the monkeys, you got gorillas here to monkeys here. That was going to be the 7 minus 0, which is going to be 0. From the tigers to the elephants, you have tigers right here and elephants right here. That was going to be 11 minus 7, subtracting their y-coordinates, which is going to give us a 4. From the aquarium to the rhinoceroses, that's also going to be 11 minus 7, which is going to be 4. And then from the reptiles back to the entrance of the zoo, that was going to be a 7 minus a 0, also known as a 7. So now we've done all the pink lines, and with the pink lines done, I think it's going to be time to do the blue lines here. Oh, no, they just changed and made the pink go the other way. So, from the gorillas to the elephants, so we got a gorilla here, an elephant here. That ended up being the 10 minus a 7, also known as a 3. From the tigers to the aquarium, that's going to be the 7 minus the 3, also known as a 4. From the rhinoceros to the reptiles is going to be a 3 minus a 0, also known as a 3. And then from the monkeys to the entrance is going to be a 10 minus a 0, also known as a 10. After that, you had all those same numbers we looked at earlier. Add them up, and you're going to get the same exact answer we had the other way of solving this problem. Now it's your turn again. Pause the video and find the perimeter of the outline section in this playground. Now don't just count the squares. I want you to do the big kid way where you're looking at the coordinates and have some good supporting work to justify your answers. So how'd it go for you? I'm going to pick a starting point. My starting point is going to be right there at 0.32. And I'm going to go from 3,2 to 3,7. My 3 stayed the same, so I'm going to do 7 minus 2, which means that distance is going to be 5. And then from here, I'm going to go 3,7 to 5,7. The 7s were the same, so that means I'm going to do 5 minus 3, which is going to be 2. Next, I'm going to go here from the 5,7 to the 5,11. The 5s are the same, so we're going to do 11 minus 7, which is going to be 4. I'm going to do 511 to 1111, and in these, the second 11s are the same, so I'm going to do 11 minus 5, and that's going to end up giving me 7. And then I'm going to do from 1111 down to 1112, where the first 11.2, excuse me, where the first 11s are the same, so I have 11 minus 2 is going to be 9, and finally back to where we started from, 11.2 to 3,2, the 2s are the same, so I'm going to do 11 minus 3, which is going to end up giving me 8. Last, I have to add all those numbers together, so let's see how we're going to go about doing that. I'm going to take and say 8, 10, 19, 28, 35 should be my answer. So jump back over to the other slide here, which is that one, and type in 35 units and check it. Uh-oh, what'd I do wrong? Did I have some bad math? And I found my mistake. It's going to be right on my 11 minus 5. 11 minus 5 should have been 6, not 7. Other than that, I think it should be good. That means the answer should have been 34, not 35. So click here and check, and it checks. Easy math when you do it right. For example 2, we're given a rectangle that has vertices listed in that chart right there. And what they want us to do is find the perimeter of the rectangle that it creates. Now to do this, they suggest starting off with a graph. So we're going to take and graph each of those points. Point A is, pick a color there, and point A is going to be at 0.28. So I got a 2 and an 8. Superman runs before he flies. Oh, that's what I got to do is put it right here. Point B is going to be 0.78. So I'm going to go 7, 8. Point C is going to be at 0.75. And point D, that's going to be at 0.25. Alright, so we have done that part. Check our answers. And why does it say we're wrong? We're at 2.5. We're at 7.5. We're at 7.8. And we're at 2.8. I'm thinking that the textbook has just got issues here. So if you take and show the answers, their answer, oh, I know why. I didn't take and connect it with a line, so I got to do that. Put a line here, and then we're going to take and put a line here, and then we're going to take and put a line across here, and finally we're going to take and put some lines across here. And now we actually have the rectangle that we need to have. Next, it says to move through the steps to identify the horizontal and the vertical sides. So sides AB, that's going to be this one, it's going to have the same what coordinate? They're going to have the same y coordinate. That's going to be your 8. And so the endpoints of side AB are going to be horizontal, and we can hopefully check that, and that checks. Next, we're going to go from there and say that side CD, that's going to be this one here, has once again the same y coordinates, so it is also going to be horizontal. Check that. Then we're going to do side AD, that's this one right here, and side AD has the same x coordinate, therefore it's going to be vertical. And then finally side BC, it has the same x coordinate again. That means that that side is also going to be a vertical side. Next, we're going to find the length of each side by subtracting the pieces we need to. So for the side AB, I'm going to do a 7 minus 2, which is going to give me a 5. For side AD, we're going to do an 8 minus 5, which is going to give me a 3. For side CD, we're going to do a 7 minus 2, which is going to give me a 5. And for side BC, we're going to do an 8 minus 5. That's going to give me a 3 again. And then the last thing we should have to do is add those up. And nope, they didn't even want us to add them up. How sad and depressing. I was just really looking forward to adding those up. If you did add them up, then you would, of course, get the perimeter of that rectangle. This is where we're going to stop part 1 of this lesson. Come back in a few minutes and watch part 2, which is going to be the very last video of Module 8.